I came back to Dubai thinking, how much would I like to make? And I'm looking, 5,000 would be good. And then all of a sudden, within a few months, I'm making 40. Then that becomes 70. And then I'm running a business which is 7 figures. And I had no plan to do that, right?
Here in Dubai, I've seen like communities have become like a marketing circle. And I'm like, everyone is just sharing the information and they're just sharing the links. What's one thing that people get wrong about healing?
I think one major mistake that people misunderstand or the misrepresentation of healing is that it's just mumbo jumbo.
Tell me the reality of events industry.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, okay? I don't sugarcoat anything, so I'm going to tell you as it is. I told you, and you're like...
This is how we roll. Namaste Hero. How are you today?
I'm very good. I really am feeling high energy, high vibes. So I'm very excited.
Wow, you are the hero of this podcast. And I met you. I felt this really amazing energy and I really connected with you. And that's why I'm like, who are you? What do you do? And you do so many things into the event space, into the community. And you have been growing communities from London to Dubai and so many other countries, even Moscow, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's really fascinating. A lot of people in today's day and age are confused and lost, but I think everyone needs help, a sense of belonging. And you are that star that has done in so many places. So thank you so much for being here today.
Oh my God, that's such a beautiful way to start. Big hugs for you. And you have done your research. I love it. It's very good. Yeah, it's very heartwarming to hear you recollecting what I've done. But I'm just at the beginning. That's the best way I can say it. I've just started. But thank you for inviting me to be here.
Wow, you are very humble for sure.
Thank you.
So we met first time in Jitex event. Somehow I bumped across with you in some random groups and somehow connected and we met. And it's so nice. Like that's the best part about Dubai, that I feel that you can really meet, connect, and then end up in these kind of spaces, which is really amazing, like-minded people. So this podcast, Namaste Hero, is all about spirituality and wellness. And you being the OG in the space of events, tell me the reality of events industry, because this is what everyone would like to hear. Because, you know, it's like they think, oh, it's very pressurizing or very, bad kind of a mindset they have. So I really want you to open up and share your thoughts and opinions about it.
Okay, I'm going to do that with a caveat. In as far as you ask me a question, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Okay, I don't sugarcoat anything. So I'm going to tell you as it is. But in my opinion, I've been seeing things from a different perspective, right? So whatever you see out there, all the glitz and glam and the shininess of events, it looks great. But I think a lot of people forget the hard work that goes into creating it. Like as with anything, I've noticed the creation part of things. It's the slow churn that can really take its toll on you. So a lot of people think, oh, it just took a couple of days to create this. Or, there are times where I've created an event and it's taken over a year to do something that had to get a lot of approvals, permits, speakers coming in from all over the world, a lot of planning, right? Mm-hmm. The execution side of things goes into your experience, how quickly you can turn things around. But the planning stage, that curation of it, is where I find my creativity comes to life. So I think a lot of people, when they attend, for example, Jitex, it's been going on for years, right? And it's one of the big shows that happens every year here in Dubai. We also have other industries. We've got healthcare with Arab Health. We've got Cityscape with real estate, Gulf Food, F&B. There's so many different things. But every single one of them, it's where people come to connect, right? And that's what I realize is at the core of why I love doing events. But what we need to always remember is, why do you do what you do? So when you are going to, even let's say you're going to go to Jitex, why are you going to Jitex? Is there an intention you have set from the beginning? However that might be, whether it's really, very targeted and focused, or a little bit more broad. But why are you going to Jitex? What is Jitex going to bring into your life? The same from me as someone who would create an event, why would I do that? What is my intention? What do I want to create? Who do I want to attract? So I think on a mindset level, being in the events industry really does test where I am in terms of my process of managing high stress situations, things going wrong last minute, handling, unexpected situations that no matter how much I can plan for, still things can surprise you, and it's your response. So I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this in their daily lives too. Your response to any situation is going to say a lot more about your state of mind rather than your reaction to it.
So true.
So I think this is one of the elements that, and it's been a hard slog. I'm not going to be able to sit here and say, oh, it happened so naturally for me. No, that's not a reality. It's been something where your topic for this podcast is one of my favorite things to talk about. I don't sit and discuss it with everybody, but with people who are like-minded and they get it, I can talk about this and share and listen for hours. So it's one of those really interesting topics that gets my mind into such creative flow. So the fact that, you're linking the events with the mindset and all of this, it's already got my mind into like, oh, how does it actually make me, show up? And what drives me towards continuing this? Because I've been doing it for 20 years now. And like you said, I started in London when I was in uni doing simple little gatherings for my crew of people who were like, we just came out of uni. We wanted to be professional and network, but we didn't know what we were doing. So it was just gathering a small group of people. Yeah. Then it suddenly grew into bigger events, then more exhibitions. And when I moved to Dubai, I was operating more from, let's say I was working in government. So I was working with the British Embassy and I was the marketing manager for the region. That in itself was, you're not only doing, brand messaging, you're creating and leading government-led campaigns. So it's very serious. And if you get something wrong, you don't want to, have to apologize for anything. So there's a lot of preparation involved, which I think was the first stage of me understanding, you need to get everything written down on paper first and then let the creativity flow. So it ultimately, with everything in life, I think it builds you stage by stage to get you to be ready for where you are. And that's why I've realized all these years, I've just gone with the flow of things. I haven't thought about anything. And I know you might think this is crazy, but I haven't thought about it like, what am I going to be doing in 5 years' time? I've never asked myself that question. And I've never even said to myself, by the end of this project, I'm going to achieve X, Y, and Z. I've never thought of it like that. It's just come to me and I've allowed it to take me on a journey. That's the easiest way I can explain it.
Wow. This just came out of the heart and really feels so much more impactful, sensible, practical that you are doing in your life. Yeah. Simple as that. But there are very different and small nuances that I would like to deep dive into.
Go for it.
First of all, you are doing some things, you're planning for some things, and let's say there's something bad gone with it. So what's that state of mind exactly during that point? If you can try to remember and see when this happened and how did you feel and what was your reaction and then which direction did you flow in?
I don't have to think that far back because it only just happened a week ago.
Oh my God.
So it's
welcome to the world.
Welcome to life. I think one of the practices that has really helped me stay on track and not get carried away in the chaos and the panic has been something that I picked up. It's actually been something I realized years ago, but it's becoming clearer and a lot more louder in me to understand this is your way to get through this. Anytime something goes wrong that we think is wrong or didn't go according to plan, before I let it take over my emotions, I just pause. And I look at this as, what is this here to teach me? This is a gift. How can I make this into something better? And when I say to you, it happened just recently. So I have an event coming up, and I had the speaker lineup prepared, organized. Everyone agreed. It was all sorted. We were about to go into the artwork phase. And on the Monday morning, I got the message to say, I'm not going to be able to make it. And the other person said, I'm only 80% sure I'm not going to make it. So you got 20% chance I'm going to be there. And I'm like, okay, this is okay. We have to go live in 2 days, but let's see what we can do. So instead of panicking and starting to put pressure on them or blaming them for not being able to make it, I just exercised that simple task of pause and look at it as okay, let's see what we can create out of this, right? So that one simple exercise, which seems very easy to do and say, in that moment when you just want to think, come on now, seriously, why? I think that moment just to reflect and think of it as there is going to be something good that comes out of this, right?
I love it. I love it. Guys, Fari is giving you gold here. This is gold, because just stopping and being aware and seeing the situation as it is, and then taking the positive or the good aspect and then moving ahead. Yeah. Simple as that. That's what I wrote in my book as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because what happens is, I think everything can be solved with positivity. Yeah. And people say, oh, Maddy, I cannot be positive all the time. I'm saying it's a choice.
Yes.
It's a choice to be positive, right? So, and then we are born to be like that. I think we are born to have fun. We are born to look at good things. Correct. Because the universe doesn't give what we want. The universe gives us who we are.
What we are, yes, exactly.
It's law of resonance.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is where the disparity comes from when people sit and they manifest. And I say it with quotes marks because I think it's been misrepresented. And this concept of you have to sit and you have to start thinking, what is it I want? And then put the affirmations and do this and that, or create a vision board, all wonderful practical tools, but it has to come from within. So if I keep saying I want X, but I don't believe I'm worthy of having it, I don't even see it can be possible. I don't even know why I want it. I'm not connected to it. Why am I surprised it's not happening? Right? So there is something there that we need to clear within our own energy field to understand that thing is not what we're looking for. It's a feeling that's going to give us. So if we can tap into the feeling, then that thing will appear. And it is literally as simple as that. And I don't want to, make it sound like it's just simple, but it is.
It is.
It really is. And I think you're so right to say the universe will give us what we are, not what we want. And this is exactly one of my realizations that I had, because you sit and think, well, okay, I'm doing all this work. I want to get to this place, but why am I not there? And why is that person there? And they're doing hardly anything, right? So that comparison, you start to get stuck in this wheel of why not me? And that's when, again, I think once you start to look at it from a point of, what am I doing that could be done better? And what are my own limitations that I'm setting? Maybe I feel some level of fear of getting to that stage. This is all work that you have to do on your own, right? You have to go through the process.
So true. So true. Very well said. And that's why I also say there are some blind spots that we need to rediscover for ourselves. Yeah. And when we discover, it's like, what is it that we are missing? For example, someone is going financially broke, right? And now they want to attract that financial freedom. So I tell them that how do you want to be when you have it all, right? For example, I want to say that I want to be free. I want to be able to free to travel, to do this and that. Yeah. So that being of free, if I'm not putting it now, I will not attract those opportunities.
Yeah.
So that being, and which I have seen in your life, you are that being, you are doing that work and you are going through it. You are setting up events, meeting amazing people, doing podcasts. So this is the way the energy is flowing, which is very amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting that you see it in such a clear way, because for me, it wasn't as clear from day one. I was more stuck in the 3D way of thinking, and I didn't understand that whatever is being outside, whatever I'm seeing outside in the world, it's not going to be reflected in my world unless I change my perspective. So this level of comparison, which I've noticed a lot of people have, look, I am in marketing, right? So one element of marketing is social media and digital marketing. in that, you have a lot of people who come and say to me, I want my social media pages and accounts to be there. You see these businesses, I want to be ahead of them. I want to be number one on Google. I want to blah, 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 blah. They have a lot of these desires, right? And I say to them, okay, but your brand, your business, your services that you're promoting are totally separate to what you are seeing out there as these competitors. And I don't want to sit and give people guarantees when you can't really guarantee anything, right? So at the end of the day, what I can do is show them the potential growth for their brand and what their path is without comparing to others. I think the competition element is very important.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at other event organizers or other podcast hosts or other anything. What I am going to do is learn from what they are doing that is potentially what I'm not doing and how I can get better. But I realized that when I'm not so busy looking at other people, I'm focusing on what I'm delivering. And this is one of the main elements. I think throughout my event journey, I always did things in a way that people were like, this is weird. Why is she doing this? And I didn't ever question it because I listened to my intuition, and I understood that sometimes I'm called to do something, I'm going to do it, right? Again, it's linked to your mindset. But let's say, for example, I used to do these event series 9-10 years ago, and I knew a lot of coaches. And this is the time when I was doing my personal development and understanding a lot of things about how my mind works. I got into NLP, I got into energy healing, a bunch of stuff. But I found these amazing coaches, and I thought, I'm surrounded by business owners, founders, and the startup community. They're so focused on their business plan, how they're going to be able to do the pitch and all of this. They didn't understand how they have to have this peace within themselves. So maybe they need to get more connected to a different ritual or practice that can, give them some grounding. Maybe they need to get a bit more active and speak to someone who's in, a personal trainer or in health or anything like this. So the events I did was, I brought in an element of mindset. Mm-hmm. I brought in that commercial element, but then I also brought in physical, I brought in mental, I brought in emotional, spiritual. And the coaches that were brought in, I remember I had one person who said to me, I've never experienced sound therapy at a business event. And I said, well, this is something that you wouldn't expect, but I personally have worked with this sound therapist. I've done sound therapy as a practice, and it's changed the way that I operate because it's a vibration. This is something you can experience. And I really understand that people are very nervous to try new things, right? But I think when you are not afraid to do something different and not to be judged for that, you're going to try. And you're going to maybe fail, maybe succeed. But I think that decision that I made in myself was not to be afraid of doing things differently. It might not be agreed by everybody that it's the right way, but eventually they might see why I'm doing it. And the right people will always come towards it. So I've noticed that in so many different things. Even when everyone's doing big, huge networking events, I'm going very small, very intimate, 10, 15 people max, consciously. So I let people do whatever they want, but in my view, I want to try things in a different way. So I think that's what we should all do.
Did you just describe a word in a very nice way?
Tell me.
That's called authenticity.
Oh, yeah. Another very overused, misunderstood word.
Exactly. But if someone wants to understand what authenticity means, they should just go backwards for the last 30 seconds. They will understand what it is.
You're so right. How do you define authenticity?
So I would define it as who you are and that you be.
Beautiful.
Simple as that.
That's a very nice way to explain it.
In my content, if you see, I am a guy who travels, who do crazy things, who's outside smiling at random people, talking to the age group of 15 to 18, 70 to 80 age group people, randomly sitting, talking for hours, watching sunset, sometimes doing a lot of work, sometimes doing nothing. That's who I am, and that's how I display my things. So I think if that is so transparent, people will know who I am. And then I will attract the right people as you do different things and you cater to the people who will attract to you. Simple. We don't want here and there extra people. It doesn't make sense. We want to attract the right people to have a good community that gives them a sense of belonging and really adds value to the life, right? Because here in Dubai, I've seen like communities have become like a marketing circle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everyone is just sharing their information and they're just sharing the links.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen really, like, to be frank, I haven't seen really someone supporting each other and saying, okay, what do you need help with? Okay, let me see what I can do. Let me try to see someone else, this and that. I rarely see this. And when I find it, I'm like, it's gold. These people are amazing. Like how we met as well, and then this happened. I feel very nice about it. Like small things, but so nice.
I think the way you're explaining it, it's so beautiful in the concept. But a lot of people, I've noticed, are more about when they go to, especially when it's a networking event or a community event or whatever it might be, they go in thinking, what can I get from this? Where is my gain? What am I going to receive by the end of this? Who am I going to meet that's going to help me make a sale or make a this or make a that? But I think once you have that internal shift and you start looking at it as, and this might sound strange to people who will look at it thinking, what? I look at things from a place of, what can I do to serve?
So true.
How can it be a win-win?
So
right?
true.
But from a place of what value can I bring to the table? If you look at things in that perspective, what I've noticed is the right people gravitate towards you.
So true.
And I'm very okay. I've very much understood the concept of I don't need to be liked by everybody. It's okay if you don't, get me. I'm very okay with this. But I very clearly can see the people who do get me, that's true. It's real. And that's the part that I see as authentic, because you connect like for like. That's exactly what you're saying, right? And I think even just look at the way that things have flowed. This session in itself, right? Yeah. We were at a community event. Yeah. As I always do with my icebreakers, I put it out there. Who wants to come and do blah, blah, blah? If you put yourself out there, you potentially can be a winner. You put yourself out there. There were 4 other people, right? I said 1 winner. I saw all of you put in the same effort. I'm like, we have 4 winners tonight. And now this is where the difference is. What you chose to do with that is to create a win-win and give back, right?
I believe
so
that.
For me, I'm getting goosebumps now. For me, when you asked and said, look, I'd like to invite you to be my guest, I was like, this guy is a walking, talking, authentic machine, because in all reality, for me, I'm looking to give. You did the same. And that's why I think there was a connection there that you can't reformulate. You can't copy this and keep duplicating it. It's very rare. And I believe the same way as you, it's gold. When you sense it and when you find it, It's very, very precious.
Thank you, because it takes one to see one. So thank you so much. Really appreciate. And I love the fact that when you say about the events as well, people go into it. So setting an intention, I really love how you said it. So can you tell to the people out there in any world, in any industry they are in, what do they tell themselves? Like what kind of intention they can set for a better way to feel and to give?
I would say setting intentions is the same as in everyday life, people set goals, right? It's just coming from a different place. Intention setting comes from within. So I go a little bit deeper and I listen to my inner voice, my intuition. What is it telling me? And then I set my intention based on that. Whereas if in the rest of society, people set goals, it's what is defined by their work environment, by their family, by their school, what is required of them. That's how they set goals. So I think if we hold ourselves to a higher point of honoring and serving, we will be able to go a little bit deeper within and realize what is our real intention. So anyone says to me, why do you keep doing events for community when you're not monetizing it and this and that? And I just say to them, because when I see people really connect, something is, it's like magic. You can see it and you don't even know how it happened, but they've made a connection. Right? This level of bringing people together. And I truly believe that a lot of people feel very alone when you create those connections and there's a community that you can feel part of. Your fear of being alone starts to just dissipate and you do feel like you belong somewhere. And that's one of the elements that I've noticed. I think within us, we all want to belong. And we're always on that search to figure out, where do I belong, to which group, to which community, to which whatever. And if we can create multiple communities that we feel like we're welcomed without any judgment, without any questions, we can go away and disappear for 6 months, come back, and it'll be like, hey, where you been? Rather than, where did you go? Why did you forget about us? That level of judgment, if we leave it out and just create that space where we all feel like we are united. And I think that's the beauty of creating communities for me. I've been doing it for years, and I've done it in multiple different countries, no matter what the audience is. The intention has always been to bring people together.
Wow.
And that has been something that I've always done. Just, I didn't realize that it's something that comes so naturally to me, which is why it's easier. And I don't get tired from doing it.
Wow. That's so fascinating. So there is something called as winning formula. And so I see your winning formula is sharing and caring about people and really seeing people connect with each other. I think that's your winning formula. That gives you a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And that's how you win in your own life.
Yeah. Very well observed. I like it. That's very nice. I think you're right in as far as you are observing me. Right? Yeah. Very few times do we observe ourselves.
Exactly.
And the fact that you've seen that, it's really reassuring to me, because I'm like, he gets me. He gets where I'm coming from. We connect. I get it.
So I've been discovering for myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so I'm now able to help others as well.
Yeah.
So when I discovered it for myself, so what happened was I was in a conversation, and so the person was like, okay, tell me something. So we started to talk, and he started to ask my characteristics. And then I said positivity, smile, and these are the words that I live by and all of that. So we are flowing in a conversation. And then he dragged the conversation in a very negative way. And now he was also like, you can tell me anything bad. So when he was telling that, I made fun, but I couldn't go negative. And then there were so many other people watching online. And so then he's like, look, Maddy. Everyone look at Maddy. This guy, in the whole conversation, he did not get negative. That means he is a very positive person.
Yeah.
So even if you take it away, he'll come back. So that was my winning formula. And I was like, oh, that's my winning formula. So my content has to be all about this, because this is who I am.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to see and also want to share with everyone.
Beautiful. That's your authenticity. I think this is where people have misunderstood. You don't have to put your entire life out there for people to say you're authentic, but it's be more aligned to you. To your truth. And at the end of the day, I do believe we're all on a journey, right? And it might sound very cliche, but ultimately the main core of this is, once you're on this journey, you have to try and understand, what are your strengths? Which areas do you need to improve? And by understanding yourself more, you get to know your winning formula, right? But you have to have those conversations with yourself. And I know for pretty much maybe like 30 years of my life, I never had a conversation with myself to understand, are you okay? I didn't have those check-ins with myself. I didn't go deeper within myself to figure anything out. I was just like, a hamster on a wheel. But I think once I paused to just figure it all out, and I started to get very curious, then I started to read a lot, speak to a lot of people, do so many different courses to understand, how does my mind work? Yeah. How does the psychology of our decision-making process, all of these things, there's a reason to it. And then peel back those layers, understand about my emotional intelligence, which I didn't even understand. Figure out what different resources are available to me for me to be grounded, to work through my anger, to work through my sorrow, whatever it is. And I was like, oh my God, if I knew these things in school, how different would everything be, right?
True. So true.
But you see now, like all the younger generation, they're on it. They know how they can modify their reactions, how they can choose from a place of like they're on it. And I'm looking at thinking, bravo to you guys. You've done the work without even realizing you've done the work.
So true. So true.
It's so interesting to see other people in their dynamic. Yeah. And then you just look at yourself and you're like, but it's never too late.
Like, I've wasted my life.
This is one of the main drawbacks, was like, what was I doing for 30 years? And then I realized, you know what? I went through all of that. Thank God I've got to this place now. and not, close to 90 years old or never reaching that place.
I feel you. That's again so nice, because you're also looking at positive aspect. Key, instead of wasting more years, you just corrected, which is great. And that brings me to the point of healing. Okay. What's one thing that people get wrong about healing?
Oh, I think one major mistake that people misunderstand, or the misrepresentation of healing, is that it's all, and I don't want to say it is in the wrong way, but it's just mumbo jumbo. And it's not. They think, like, for example, if you're looking at something as a holistic way to heal, there are only a few things that you can do to heal on that level. Whereas actually it's all of your senses need to be healed. It's not just sort out what you're thinking and everything else will be fine. No, because then on an emotional level, you're going to have reactions. How are you going to balance those emotions? How to regulate your nervous system? How to understand your physical body requires tender, loving care. It requires you to see it, accept it, and receive it exactly where it is. Your spiritual practices, it's not just heal one aspect of you and it's a one done deal. It's a continuation. And I think one of the big problems is people think once you heal, you're done. You don't need any more. But I believe that it's a lifelong process, right? Certain things will become easier. Then you'll understand there are new things you have to figure out. And with every year and every decade and every part of your journey, there's new elements that you need to heal within. And also certain aspects that you thought you had healed, you've realized, nah,
good morning.
Hello, they're still there. It's become a lot lighter, but you still need to deal with it, right? Yeah. So I think the misconception of healing is once you've done it, it's done. It's a one and done deal. But I realized it's a continuation, and there are so many ways that you can find that healing within yourself. I love it.
So let's deep dive into this now. I'd love to know, like, you have done so many different kind of modalities. So which is the one that really stood out for you, and that now you are really using it in your life and really helping you in like very short, so people can also understand and they'll be like, okay, now I would grab this and use it in my life.
So I can only speak about what has impacted me personally, but I've done like 7-8 modalities, right? So the ones that I realized along the journey, I've now accumulated them all into my own way of clearing things and figuring things out, okay? But I would definitely say my understanding of energy, vibration, has drastically shifted where I see everything. So sound therapy for me has been one of those things where I didn't understand the power of vibration. I used to always love music, right? And the teacher that I had, the practitioner, he doesn't like being called a healer because he's an engineer, a sound engineer. So he actually, being a sound engineer, came in with that mindset. He understood the power of sound and vibration. So learning this through that lens, wow, very different. And I started to understand the different levels of vibration, how that impacts you internally on your physical level. That has been one thing. So I have a singing bowl. I went in to think I'm going to buy Tibetan metal bowls, and I came out with not only a metal, but also a crystal bowl. And I use that to just kind of ground myself. I even integrated with my events too. So when I had my speed networking event, and you would usually do a bell to make people change. I use my singing bowl.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, I'm going to shift the energy here. So I love it. I think understanding what works for you comes through experimenting.
So true.
I've done so many things. I've done access bars. I've done theta. I've done SRT, Reiki, sound therapy. Oh my God, I could go. The list goes on. But those are just in terms of healing on that level. Then I've done NLP, CBT, REBT to understand my mind. Then on a physical level, I've got so much more into holistic methods and even aromatherapy and Ayurvedic process. So many things I've got curious about. And I realized that there's an element of all that is working for me. So I can't say one thing, but one of the things that really did shift was my understanding of vibration, and how I tap into that is through my sound, through bowls, crystal bowls, metal bowls, sound healing, I still do. I still attend on a monthly basis, and it's a beautiful 1 hour meditation that I go to, and it's just so calming and peaceful, and I literally zone out. So whatever is going on, I just go through that process, and it just allows me to embrace the vibration and let it just figure out whatever it needs to be figured out and released. It does it automatically. But that's been one of the biggest transformations I've experienced through my own healing journey, apart from all of the limiting beliefs and conflicting beliefs that I had to go through and understand my mind and all of that. That has to be done.
Wow.
But healing on a different level, I would say sound therapy for me was life-changing.
I love it. This is again gold. She's giving you gold. Use this in your life, because this is very interesting, because I say where the energy goes, the energy flows.
Yes.
So you said it very nicely. I think whosoever is listening, they should try to imbibe this in their life and see if it works for them. Great. If not, try something else that can help them improve their lives.
Yeah.
Because in the end, we want to achieve our purpose, and that can only happen when we are the best version of ourselves.
Right.
That brings me to the topic of what's your purpose in your life?
I think the purpose in my life, I'm thankful enough to say I'm living it. I've noticed and realized throughout my life, it's always been having the curiosity to do things differently. And to do that, I've understood I need to bring more people into the mix. So creating the platforms, creating the communities, the events that bring people together and give them a different perspective has been what I've always done. I just didn't realize it until I looked back, and I've had people ask me, can you send me a bio? Can you send me, your review of what you've done? I've only understood it when I look back and I thought, hold on a minute. All throughout my years, my decades, wherever I've lived, how has I've always been someone who's built communities? And I didn't even do it intentionally. Just, I wanted to connect, and let alone, like, I would go and join a community. Within a short period of time, I've become the president, or I'm leading it, or I'm fronting. It just became that way. And I realized I'm not intentionally setting out to do that. It's just coming to me.
Coming to you.
So I've realized my purpose is bringing people together and giving that different perspective. Like, even with my own podcast, just a simple scenario, people want to talk about how you become successful and how you succeed, right? I'm like, I'm going to go through the failures. So my initial start of the podcast was, let me bring on amazing, successful entrepreneurs, but listen to their failure stories and get the learnings
just out of
from there. So again, I didn't want people to think of failure in such a negative way like I did. I had to work on that to see it as a way to fail forward. So even change the perspective of failure and see it how it can be a mechanism towards success. So this is, again, just a simple way that I understood changing people's mindsets and perspective by connecting the dots. So this is, so far I've learned this is my purpose. And I might discover more things. I don't know, but I'm excited to see where else I'm led to. And look, we're having this conversation just because we both followed our intuition and went with the flow.
So true.
And here we are.
Wow.
So this is how I see that everyone can do the same. You don't need to overthink it, which is what this mind tends to do, right? I'm a recovering, I proudly say a recovering overthinker, but it is one of the things that we have to work on.
First of all, very nicely said about your purpose, and which is so nice to hear, because very few people, rare people have the intention or the purpose of bringing people together, which is lovely. And when you're talking about mind, I was thinking, okay, the neighbors are in the mind. Our friend is in the mind. If we have any enemy, it's in the mind. Everything is in the mind.
Yes.
And I think it's the most sophisticated machine on this planet. If we are able to manage it very well, use it very well through good protocols that we build as good rituals, I think it can be amazing. And which I can see that you have built. And that's why you're here as well, like in your span of your life.
Yeah.
A lot of people take many years because they kind of not get the direction. And that's what this podcast is all about. You are doing podcast, I'm doing podcast. We really go into the depth of it and really uncover so many things that, oh my God, it's like, like overthinking. Oh yeah, I do it. But okay, this is the solution, you know? So really happy to hear about all of this. Wow, interesting.
I know, it's interesting having these conversations when a lot of the times people want to direct the conversation, right?
Oh my
and
God.
This is what I love about
That's not
you.
me, yeah.
That you know, I'm very okay to go with the flow. I'm very okay if someone has questions. Even in my own podcast, I do have talking points, but I want the flow to become natural. And that's what I love about your approach to this has been, look, I want to ask a couple of things, but I want to go with the flow. And I'm like, I'm all about that. Let's do it. Because that's been one of my learnings, that the more I want to control something, it's coming from a place of lack. I don't have that belief that I am in control. So therefore I need to hold on to everything. This is my biggest learning I've been understanding these last few months, honestly, surrender.
I was going to say surrender.
Oh my God.
I love it.
This is something that I was like, I've been trying to understand the surrender. Think I got it. I know how to do it. I'm on it. And then I'm like, nope, I haven't got it. And I'm falling back into the same trap. That level of surrendering, because I've understood that everything is going to be okay. I don't need to be in charge of everything, take care of everything and control everything because I fear that it's not going to be okay. That mindset shift has come from a lot of things. And I've started where I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got divorced. I came back to Dubai thinking, what do I start? Where do I go? I don't even know what I want to do. And I just started to get curious. And I think that journey itself made me realize that I shouldn't hold this down to I failed, but it should be just, it's a step that didn't work out. Let's pick ourselves up and get on with it, right? So that in itself made me understand I didn't fight the process. I let it be. And I think that letting it be is when you start to let your barriers down and you don't fear the next step or the unknown and all of these cliche things that we do all the time. Like I know personally, I have had a lot of fears that are in my head. Fear of being judged, fear of failure, fear of success. I even realized fear of not being good enough, all of those things that we have. And I just realized step by step, one at a time, I have to peel back the layers and realize everything's going to be okay. And I've gone from thinking, oh, how much would I like to make? And I'm looking, 5,000 would be good. And then all of a sudden, within a few months, I'm making 40. Then that becomes 70. And then I'm running a business which is 7 figures. And I had no plan to do that, right? It was just, let me start and see where it goes. And then when you have nothing and you build it, once you lose it, you have to do a lot of rethinking. And do I want to build it again? How do I want to build it? What am I going to do? Your confidence takes a hit. This is all a process.
And that's the true hero that can do that.
I think it's a lovely title to have, but it's a very difficult journey to go through. Once you go through it, it makes you realize how strong you really are. And I think this is where people don't understand their real strength. We really do undervalue ourselves in terms of how much power we have within ourselves, because those little things like comparison and, remembering the failures that we've had keep replaying in our minds, and we forget how strong we are, how connected we are, how supported we are. And that's, again, leads me back into the concept of having people around you, having family if you're lucky enough, friends, even having colleagues, belonging to communities that you can reach out to and just say, I've had a really, really tough day, or it's just been a very difficult week. And I have my inner circle. They know everything that's going on. And to be honest with you, they're able to see it and detach from it and just give me that, you're going to be okay. And I was like, I know. I'm just sharing it and we're going to be, it's all good. Even in one of my networking communities that I touch base with everyone on a weekly basis to say, how are you this week? How was your week? Was it really challenging? How are you going to be doing next week? What's the next month going to look like? Because sometimes we just need to feel like somebody cares, and so that's true. One of those elements that sometimes we don't all have that cushion of knowing that somebody cares for us.
So true. A simple good morning can do that. You don't even need to ask, how are you today? A simple good morning, which you are again taking one step ahead and asking them how they are, which is so lovely. Wow, that's fascinating. And when you talk about surrender, I learned this a few months ago.
Oh gosh, how did you learn it? How did it come in your life? I'm intrigued to know.
Psychedelics.
This is very interesting. Which one?
Oh wow, it was 5-MeO DMT.
Okay, I don't know this one.
Yes,
Okay.
it's something.
Wow. Okay.
It's really so. I'm a person who really loves to try new things, but also not get attached to anything.
Sure.
Because then again, it becomes a process. All of
course.
it. So I want to experience, see the gist of it, and see how it helps me in my life.
Right.
And I see this medicine. It's basically the poison of a toad. Mm-hmm. So it's like you kind of die and then you come back.
Oh, it's the toad poison thing. Oh, this
No,
is
not this one, but then the other one.
It's a different one.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
different.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's called Bufo. And it's basically like you feel the body is like atoms and molecules and particles.
Wow.
For that, you really need to surrender. And that's like an ego death. And I'm very grateful because I've kind of never had like a big ego because I'm like, I'm no one, but yet I'm everyone. I'm nothing, but I'm everything.
Yeah.
So I've been always living by these words in my life. So it's been very helpful. And with this medicine, it also like kind of guided me to like surrender, just.
I love that.
So which was very interesting. And then now I'm able to use this in my life, also share with everyone. It's the most beautiful thing. And you also bring this up, which is really amazing.
So how do you do it on a daily practice? Like if something comes up and you just need to remember to surrender.
Example. Very nice. So I'll tell you, okay, currently this is the stage of my life right now. To be frank, as you are also being vulnerable, it's only a month for the next month until I have my expenses for myself. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm so much positive and I'm taking actions. I'm working towards it. So I'm now surrendering in the whole process. I'm always with the state of surrenderance because I know I will get it.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm going to get
That's the certainty. You have absolute certainty that you're going to be okay.
And then leave it to the universe.
Yeah.
I've left it. So that which people are like, oh no, this, oh shit.
You have to think about this. You have to have that planned. You have to have all this. Yeah.
Nah. And you see, by the time we release this podcast, it's another 2 or 3 weeks. I'll be sorted.
Yeah.
Somehow. And the universe is just guiding all the time. Since the time I came, I've traveled so many countries. I don't know how. It just happens. Met so amazing people. It just happens,
I love that.
Yeah.
I think this is the beauty of really understanding when you surrender, right? And you've hit it exactly in the most beautiful way that you don't know the answer. You don't know how it's going to happen. And I think one of my learnings has been, you've highlighted it, is our focus is very distracted when we get busy in the how, the when, the who, the what, the where. We just need to focus on how we show up and how we respond. So if we just focus on that, then the rest of it is not our problem. It's not our business. And we have consciously been trained to be active in that rather than just be connected within. And I know it's easier said than done, but this has probably been one of the biggest shifts I've made to not busy my mind with all of those details that have got nothing to do with me. I can plan as much as, and one of the things that showed it to us, COVID, how much planning could we have done to prevent that from happening or to prepare ourselves for that? True. You can't. So I had to literally pivot my entire business. I had to understand the world is changing. Everyone has got to change in a different way. You have to be, flexible, adaptive, agile by not having that busy mind and focus on what you can do. That's all. So I think this is one of the biggest things that through your sharing, it's that vulnerability that really allows someone to just, surrender and allow you the space to be exactly who you are.
So true, which is lovely. Very lovely.
Beautiful.
I would like to ask you, so this is the last segment as we are going through the people who are in the age group of 20 to 30, let's say 18 to 30. What would you like to address in this span of their life? Like, what do you want to tell them?
Very frankly, I would just say, take the time to listen to yourself, right? Block out the external noise and spend that time with you. because it's very easy to get caught up in what is expected of you, what society demands of you, what your employer requires of you, X, Y, and Z. But I think it's what you need to give to yourself. And what you require is that peace of mind, is that the ability to understand and listen to yourself. And one of the biggest things I would say is learn how to say no. Learn how to say yes to the things that are aligned to you, and get much better at saying no to anything and anyone that's not bringing you that fun, that joy, that peace. I read a quote years and years ago, and it made me realize that ultimately we are a masterpiece and we're a work in progress at the same time. What that means in its full context is you are exactly perfect, whole, and complete right now.
So true. Lovely.
So whether you're 18, 25, or 30, Lovely. 65 or 90, doesn't matter. You are complete and whole right now. But whatever you desire and whatever you want and however you want to improve, it's okay. You can still go for that. You can still want for that, but feel whole and complete right now. There is nothing missing in you right now. That mindset shift has been one of the things that I've never really understood until 2025. And everything has shifted in my life for me to fully embrace that I am whole and complete, and I am still a work in progress.
I love it. I love it. Guys, look at this. Listen to this. This is pure gold. You all are complete and whole. Fari has just beautifully defined this. And it just makes me tell everyone that they're whole, they're complete. And it's just this self-transformation journey that we are always going on, being the best version, trying out new things, doing amazing experiences, meeting great people, networking, and just enjoying life.
Yeah.
Having so much fun that you can't get the time to get depressed or negative. That's the whole aim. And so, yes, I think so. This is so amazing to have you on the podcast and sharing so valuable insights, and of course, showing who you are in your core depth and core essence. I really love it. Thank you so, so much for being here today and for sharing the love and the light who you are.
Maddy, it's been such a joy to just have this conversation with you. We're obviously aligned because, look, we're both wearing bright colors, which is so ironic. We didn't have a conversation about it. It just came intuitively. And I think there is definitely a connection, which I love what you're creating. I love the intention you have with this podcast. I'm so happy that you were able to win the session to come and actually film here. And I'm honored that you asked me to be your guest. So it's really... You being you is an inspiration for people to just step into their light and to understand, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be whatever feels right for you. And I love that. I love that our souls connected.
Thank you so much. Yes, I love it too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being the hero.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too.